Comment on explique qu'on est différent? Je suis née comme ça, comme toi t'es née avec les yeux verts. Est-ce que les personnes aux yeux verts doivent s'expliquer, elles? J'ai toujours été très ouverte à parler de mon syndrome, à la fois parce que j'ai appris à être à l'aise avec ce que j'ai.
I absolutely loved Mosaic. I loved hearing her experience that she's had with herself, with her body. Um, and I love the idea of having a nude portrait drawn so that she can see herself through somebody else's eyes. And oh my gosh, that final painting like took my breath away. It's so gorgeous, especially with the color. And I thought it was so special that she was also helping to create it at the end. And I like that they added string and they added more like physical textural elements to it. That they had the babies like in her stomach on it. It was like nothing I could have imagined it would turn out to be. And it was absolutely stunning. And I'm sure it's a piece that she's going to treasure forever. For the amount of things that she's had to have done to her body at such a young age. She has this incredible positive attitude and this like really strong sense of self that I think is something that, you know, we could all take something from. She seems like such a wonderful person, and I'm so glad that I got to watch this.
All right, so I just finished watching Mosaic, which I thought was a very well done piece. It had a really great message about self identity and sort of self assurance and self esteem that I thought was really great through the centerpiece. Woman talking about her syndrome and just a wide array of health, physical ailments she had to contain the syndrome, all the hospital visits, all the surgeries, and such and very sort of a process that really breaks you down, and you sort of wonder how you can have the mental capacity to go through it. And I thought that the woman really gave a really great insight as to how she navigated it and sort of how she tries to move through the world, how she tries to deal with the perception of herself and other people, and how this sort of nude modeling situation was a culmination of that idea, and how it contributed to her sort of getting a stronger sense of herself and a sense of self-confidence, even though it was supposed to be a situation that might be highlighting her imperfections. And so I thought the sort of philosophical idea behind that, sort of bearing your scars and bearing things that you might want to hide from people and putting them out front and not being afraid of them, I thought really sort of dovetailed with a lot of the ideas the woman was trying to sell about her sense of identity and how her story can be functioning as an inspirational story. So I thought it was very well done in that sense, and I thought it had a really great and a tasteful approach to art as therapy that I thought was very well done. So I thought it worked for me in the end.
Mosaic. I absolutely loved this. I think that your relationship with your own body is so important. And I think a lot of the time, and it doesn't just happen with women, I think it does happen with, I know it happens with women, but I think it happens with everybody, just in very different ways, that there's so much pressure put upon how somebody looks, or you know, how they should look, especially when you're young. I think that everybody struggles with their body and kind of coming to terms with it and learning to love it. I think that there is a lot of pressure that gets put on women. Not saying the pressure does not get put on men, because it does, absolutely, but your relationship with your body is one of the most important relationships you'll be in your whole entire life, because like that it's your home, like it's where you live, it's, you know, it is you, it is your being. And if you don't have a good relationship with that, then that's gonna in some way taint your relationships, all of your other relationships. I truly believe that. So this was such a beautiful way to highlight and show and document her journey with her own body and her journey with learning to love her body, and you know, how much work it took to get to where she's at. And I think it's so beautiful, such a beautiful journey to highlight, such a beautiful film. I absolutely adored it, and I think it's so, so important.
MOSAIC, this was really, really cool. The entire story of this was just beautifully done. And it was also very inspiring, as were her reasons for doing it. Listening to her talk with this raw honesty was not only heartwarming, but it really made you feel like you could go out and do anything. She was very inspirational in that sense. I loved watching the artwork come to life and the beautiful drawings that they did of her. I thought that that was great. I think that the filmmakers did this justice. They really knew how to set up their shots with the cinematography and the depth of field, and it was really beautiful and very, very tender. Yeah, I loved it.
MOSAIC. MOSAIC is a touching short, very deep. I can see the main character, maybe once, the ideas that she gave me, maybe once she was struggling at the beginning of her life, but then she turned this struggle into power, into energy. And as she said, she quickly became comfortable with the condition, and she's not even calling it a condition anymore. It's just the way she is. And I think this is a powerful character and a powerful way for everyone out there that maybe might be struggling with some physical and health and mental issues, that is really you are the first one that have to try to change the mindset, enjoy life for what it is, and make the best out of it, as this woman is doing. And on top of that, there is obviously this beautiful artwork being made with a great direction cinematography. So overall, I think this short was very well done and was very deep, and I really, really enjoyed it. Congratulations.
I very much loved the message of MOSAIC, especially that emphasis on self-love. There's definitely a lot of people in the world who are very self-conscious about how they look, and one of the things that was said in this one that struck a chord with me was when you're around people, or you're basically in a level of comfort where those things that you're self-conscious about, you don't even notice it, and it just becomes a part of you, or a part of who you are when you've reached that point. I think that definitely speaks volumes to the level of self-love. I definitely think this one was very powerful. Just embracing who you are, every element about yourself, and just loving yourself, perfections or imperfections. I think that's the true beauty of it all.
I loved many aspects of this film. The relationship between the woman and the artist, the fact that she wanted to feel comfortable in her body, and I loved especially that she waited till the end of the film to tell us what the syndrome was. She just kept saying, "My syndrome, I have the syndrome." And I was wondering what it was, but it keeps you captivated in the film because you're wondering, what is it? It's and I think it's a great way to end it, because just the name of the syndrome, Gault syndrome, at the end is one that sticks in your head. Had she said at the beginning, it might have fallen out. You might not remember what it is, but saying it at the end is a great way to keep people interested and to learn more about it, which she did a great job describing it already, but to learn more about it, I loved the shots that they would have extreme close-ups of what part of our body she was talking about, so we could understand what the syndrome does. She could have just talked about it and we might not have seen it, and which would have meant research on ourselves, but the film shows as she's talking through extreme close-ups, which made it more impactful with what she was saying. I really do like that she said what it was as she ends the film. just because it makes it more clear about what syndrome it is, and it will have an impact on stick in people's minds about what it is, and be appreciative that they learned about it.
MOSAIC, well, start to finish, this was a fascinating little short documentary that was original. The subject of the documentary is a woman who has Gold syndrome. Skin patches and conditions, also physical. She comes to an artist for some nude portraiture. She wants something special in her home that she can see and that celebrates her. Something that doesn't define her by her physical condition. And the artist does a beautiful job, who's so open and so creative. This dramatic part where she peels off papers with remarks that people make to her in the streets or strangers' questions. That was powerful. There's a moment at the end where one of the portraits is of mixed media, and there's silhouettes of her two babies drawn in the painting. It's so significant because this woman was told she probably couldn't have children, so it's a real triumph in the end, and it was a wonderful film.